Let's go. Well, Jumbo, everybody, my name is Heather. I'll be your safari guide out here through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Now we're going to see lots of animals take some fantastic. It gets a bit bumpy out there, and the animals, well, they can appear out of nowhere. So you always want to be prepared for that perfect picture. Well, speaking of those animals, though, take a look above your heads there. You'll see some of those animal spotting guides. Now, those are nearly all of the animals that we have seen on this reserve for the past 40 years. It's not a zebra, though. It's called an okapi, and they're actually the only known relative of the giraffe. Very shy and reclusive animals, though. So much so, the Western world didn't even know they existed until 1901. Oh, and you know what? I do see a large watering hole up ahead. Of course, where there's water, there are usually some animals not too far away. So we're going to keep our eyes open and see if we can spot any of them. Now, it's every once in a while that I can come through these parts and see some of the really rare animals out here. One time, I actually saw a black rhino, which was pretty awesome. But, oh, wait a minute. I don't think I see a black rhino now. Hang on, let's see if we can swing around the corner here. This one's going to be coming up over on our left-hand side. Look carefully. It's hanging out against the cliff here. Let's see if we can get in for a nice picture for you. Now they weigh around 3,000 pounds apiece, but that doesn't mean they're slow. Thanks to a very impressive 35 miles an hour. Now something like that you'd expect to be practically indestructible, and they are, except by humans it is. Due to poaching, we think there are fewer than 5,000 of those black rhinos left worldwide. Now, but let's keep moving forward here and see what else we can find. There's something else hiding out through this way. Orange-colored animals. Now, these ones are bongos. The bongos, though, are actually known as the ghosts of the pool because they're so rarely seen. A little bit easier to spot. Take a look straight across for those large, light brown animals. Those ones are greater kudu, second tallest antelope here in Africa. Looks like a couple of females there. Tell because they don't have any horns on their heads, but we'll keep our eyes open for any others as we're making our way through here. A male hippo can reach up to 5,500 pounds. The river's crested over the road here. Let's see if we can head upstream. Check some of them for you. And hippos spend a lot of their time in larger groups called floats. And I think I see one. Let's pull up and see if we get a nice view here. Along the way, passing by some birds nesting out on the island. Those ones are pink-backed pelicans. Their feathers turn a shade of pink during mating season. That's how they get the name. Well, look right next to the island. You see one going on by?
Oh.
There's a couple over there.
Make sure you stay seated back there. Probably thanks so much. A few more of them hanging out just past the island there. Now, hippos can hold their breath for about 8 minutes at a time, so we won't spend too much time here. Instead, we're going to head off towards the shallows. Now, hippos, they're not really great swimmers. They usually just sink down to the bottom of the river, and they kind of walk around down there. So the shallows are an excellent place to check. Looks like there might be one hanging out at the bottom of one of the waterfalls out through there. Uh-oh. Oh, no, wait a minute. Those aren't hippos. Looks like we found some Nile crocodiles down below. Yeah, this is probably as close to these crocs as I'd ever want to get. They can chomp down with enough force to turn any bones into twigs. About 2,000 pounds per square inch. You see a couple of them with their mouths open there. It's actually a really great way of regulating the body temperature. Kind of like you see a dog panting to keep cool. Well, the crocs will just lay there with their mouths open. You know what though? I don't really want to find out if those crocs are hot or they're hungry, so I think it's probably for the best if we head out of here. But hey, I'll tell you what, we actually had some pretty good luck down by that river there. Some great luck in the forested area as well. But now I think it's time we head off to a different ecosystem and see if we can find some completely different animals. Hey, wait a minute. Things are starting to get a little different. Check out this tree. It's going to be coming up over on the right-hand side here. Almost looks like someone planted it upside down with its roots up in the air. That's how they grow. It's called a baobab tree. They're actually leafless about 9 months out of the year. This is just one of many I'm sure we'll see as we make our way through the reserve. Oh, but since we're so close, take an actual look at this one. You see how it has those big holes in the trunk there? That is actually caused by elephants. You see, these trees hold hundreds of gallons of water on the inside. That's why they swell up to be so big. Now, the elephants, they know that. So in times of drought, they'll seek out the upside-down tree. Once they find them, they'll use their tusks to puncture right on through the trunk and drink up all the water. Because of that, the upside-down tree has a second nickname as the Tree of Life. It does look like we're heading over into the Serengeti grasslands. They span for hundreds of miles and really act as a super highway for migrating animals. Let's take a look and see what's migrating through right now. Oh, already I can see some animal activity as we come through the tree line here. Let's see if we can get a little bit closer to identify a few of them. Now the first ones there, those ones are easy to identify. Check it out, those giant horns back there. They belong to Ankole cattle. Now they're also known as Watusi cattle, named after the Watusi tribe that first domesticated them. And they are the only domestic animal here in the reserve. Been here for a really long time, so they get along with the other animals just fine. If you take a look though, there's actually some giraffes, the differences between them. In the meantime though, take a look at those Ankole cattle. I see at least 5 of them out here. And from here you can start to see just how big these horns actually are. Now they're really not as heavy as you think. They're hollow with a kind of honeycomb structure to them. Blood vessels travel up through those horns, the blood cools down, comes back down to the body, and it cools down the entire animal. And take a look off to the left-hand side, just to the left of the cage. Do you see them napping in the grasses? Looks like some African wild dogs. Now they're also known as painted dogs. Beautiful coats, no two are the same, unique just like our fingerprints are. Looks like some to the right of that cave as well. Even though they're all different, they can still tell each other apart. You wouldn't guess it just by looking at them napping like this, but these are actually one of the most successful hunters in all of Africa. Even more so than hyenas or even the big cats. They catch their prey about 80 to 90% of the time. As we do make our way over towards those giraffes though, again some more of those Ankole cattle, but I'm starting to notice a lot of these cones here as well. Does anyone have any guesses on what these cone shapes are sticking out of the ground? Yeah, they're termite mounds, they're made up of dirt. I would say it's the equivalent of a termite saliva, which is pretty gross, but also pretty cool because they sit in the sun and they bake all day, every day, and eventually they become as hard as rock. So the elephants will come down and use them as scratching toys. Well, they kind of run like that on the right-hand side there. And every once in a while, I see little antelope standing right on top, just so they can look out to the taller grasses for any predators lurking nearby. Nice slow roll here for you, though, so be sure to get lots of pictures. Are you looking for some little tiny tan and white animals? And I do see their heads popping up. If you look at the top of the hill, see those wildebeest? If you look to the left of them, really, really tiny little ones. So we're going to wait until we get over to the other side of the hill. Hopefully we can see them for you. There might be... Right now, though, we are heading over towards something a little bit bigger than what we've been seeing. Just about to enter into elephant territory. This particular entryway is called Monkey Point. There's a small troop of mandrills that occasionally run through the area calling it home. So we'll keep our eyes open for any elephants. Maybe some of those mandrills as well. Now I have to warn you though, they are a little shy, so if we don't see any, Hakuna Matata. No worries. Well, look at this, right off the bat, an elephant over here on the right-hand side. Sort of gonna wager a bet here, so it's a male. Males are typically alone or in bachelor groups. The herd is made up of the females and the young ones. It's around age 13 that the boys leave the group. That gives them the second longest childhood of any mammal, just behind humans. And if you take a look at him, he's a great example of that dirt on his back. No, that's not by accident. They have very sensitive skins. They oftentimes can throw dirt or hay up there, kind of like a sun protection. But when they get too warm, they start flopping those massive ears of theirs. Simply by that, an elephant can lower its own body temperature up to 15 degrees, so pretty impressive stuff. Usually this time of day that I have some luck finding a herd of elephants down by the main watering hole, so we'll swing on over, see see if we can catch up to them for a nice family photo for you. Also keeping our eyes open for any of those mandrills out this way as well. Occasionally I get lucky and find them up in the trees picking bugs off of one another. That's how you make friends in the mandrill community. Oh, you know what though? Looks like if we want to catch up to those elephants, we're going to have to cross this bridge. And it looks a little old, but I'm sure as long as we take it nice and slow, we should be okay. Yeah, that's not so... Okay, now I've definitely seen better bridges than this. Hey, is that duct tape holding stuff? That can't be very safe. Let's forget about going slow. We should probably just head out of here. Yikes.
It didn't tip this time.
I know. Oh, but it does look like we're heading in the right direction. Seeing some more animals as we make our way through. I'll identify them for you. But we found ourselves here in the middle of the red clay pits. It's a great hangout for elephants. You can even see the tusk marks through the clay here. It's kind of like a giant vitamin for them. Oh, and we don't have to look too far. Look at this. Tell you what, that's not exactly the best view of an elephant I've ever seen in my life. But I do see a lot of them up ahead. So let's see if we can get a nice angle for you. See if we can go down to the watering hole here, get a little bit closer. Now they're excellent jumpers, that's how they get their name. About 6 feet into the air, 13 feet forward. Together, it's a process known as pronking. It's how they avoid predators like cheetahs. Hey, really close here on the right hand side. These are Patterson's even. Looks like a couple adult females and a couple of young ones there as well. Keep your eyes open for any males. These are truly the standard species, weighing at around 2,000 pounds, standing about 6 feet. Yep, hey, some flamingos over here as well. Now, flamingos do start out as little gray birds. They get the pink from all the shrimp they eat in their diet. Now, these kind in particular are greater flamingos. That means they are the largest in the flamingo family. They're actually the palest pink, though. Heading over towards my favorite part of the reserve, though, start to enter into white ground. Of course, no two zebras' patterns are the same. They're unique, just like our fingerprints are. And, of course, the stripes are actually black with white stripes. Just by looking at their nose. Off to the right-hand side, I do spot some white rhinos on the hillside there. If you're wondering, though, why they're called white rhinos when they're gray, that's a very good question. It was a misinterpretation by the English-speaking world a while back. It should be wide rhinos. That bird's a very wide-set mouth, but it's stuck as white instead. A couple of white antelope over here on the left-hand side. These ones are addax, A-D-D-A-X. They're a type of desert antelope. The addax is pretty impressive. They can go their entire lives without taking a single sip of water. They get all the water they need from the vegetation they eat. That's how they survive out here in Africa. It's a really cool adaptation.
There's one over there.
Oh, now there's 2 of them.
Yeah. They're so cute! I just killed it.
He got camera shy apparently.
Yep.
There's the other one. But there, oh!
Did he fall?
No, I don't think he fell. I think he did that on purpose, but...
Oh, now they're playing.